Mike Comtech coming to you here with another video. Today we're going to take the squawker. We're going to tear into the gearbox here at the very bottom. Take all this off. Get in here. This particular squawker has a the gearbox is locked up. The main drive motor takes it so far, and then right here's the main drive motor right here. This is it. Right now I've got the belt disconnected because when this gearbox locks up, it goes so far and then it locks up. So something's stopping it somewhere. And then the belt will slip here on this motor pulley. But that's the main motor right there that runs this whole lower body area. So I'm going to take it apart. I mean, as you can see, we've got the pelt off of it, but I'm gonna take the feet off just to get them out of my way. I mean, this bird's got a lot of problems anyway, but that's why we're using it for like a tear apart, tear down. And then I also want to do some signal tracing on here and see how we could activate it remotely if possible. So, okay, I'm gonna sit down here, and then the first thing we got to take off are these screws right here. All these, what, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them? Yeah, 6 screws. Got to take these out. Take that one. Take this one. Now this is one of the legs, of course. It's pretty unique how they rigged this. I've taken it apart down to this level kind of before, took it apart a little bit, just took it down so far. Okay, so we've got this piece on top, and we have this centerpiece that goes like that. The screw stays, I can just leave the screw in there. And then we've got the tooth leg gear, you know, this is the main leg here. And then we are like, what, 1, 2, 3, about four teeth in. So when I put that back together, I usually put it back together the same height. Then here's the little spring that makes it work. So I line this up, put that gear center, and put that back down on there. But this is the spring here that runs that leg up and down. And then this will have to come off. That piece right here, that makes him tilt back and forth, you know, like this. And then we got a spring here. And then we've got this right here, and I got to put the spring back on here. So put that on there, and then just kind of push it back down on there. So that's the way that one should look. If the bird's facing you, this will be the left leg. Or it'll actually be, you could technically say it would be his right leg. Then we got a screw down here to take out. I don't know what's on this plastic, but it's like Teflon. It's slick, slick, slick. Wow. And let's see, that screw's a little bit, yeah, that screw is a shorter one, so put it over there. Okay, and then we got one, yeah, I got one here. This one right here. Yep. So that should lift off. See, that goes back, lines up here. Yeah, that's really tight in there. Something's not right. Okay, so then we've got to get into this side here. So it looks like we've got, I'm going to disconnect this screw here. This is actually one of the screws that runs the, now that screw that goes there has the built-in washer on it. And take this linkage off. I'm going to go ahead and just remove it totally just to get it out of the way. And then this screw also has the built-in washer on there. And then we're going to lift this. This is actually this is the wing mechanism. This is what makes his wings flap. So right here, is spring loaded. So when that moves this, when this arm pushes this backwards, when that rotates in here, it'll push that wing out. Okay, I got this screw to take out, the one right here, this lower one. That's got to come out. I think it's time for me to remagnetize my screwdriver. There. Then we got this one down below here to take off. And this one to take off. And let's see, we got, oh yeah, we got to grab this one too. So I got to get that belt out of here. Okay. Because right now, if you turn it on, you'll hear the motor spin. It won't do anything. See? So there's the motor spinning. Then after a while, like right now, that motor's clockwise. Now it just, the H bridge got switched and now it's running counterclockwise. And then he'll initialize eventually, because the computer will just finally give up trying to see where this optical sensor is. There's an optical sensor that sits right here.
Talking to you.
There's a little encoder right here. I'm gonna shut him off. Little encoder right here that spins, and that's what tells this microprocessor where where the body is in any given time. Let's see, we got to take the battery pack out too. Gotta get rid of that because that splits right down the middle. So I mean, the sophistication of this thing is pretty high, I must admit. And then this screw's got to come out too, on the one on the right at the top of that battery box. And then we'll get the battery box out of here. Okay, so we got that. We got to get this top screw right here, this one, right on the top, right from that leg pivot. Got to get this screw out of here. And that one's just a tad bit shorter too. So that little screw there. Okay, we got all these. Pop that speaker loose. And we got a little clip right here. We gotta undo that. I'll undo, let's see, I was thinking I was forgetting the screw, but maybe not. Oh yeah, I did. Right here, one hiding right here. Right there, right below the battery box. Okay. So this is first time in here, so anything can happen. Okay, so I'm going to take that and bring this to the side. Okay, and I think looks like this is pressed on. Yeah, it does move, but yeah, it's pressed on there. Okay, I want to hook up. Well, it won't do much good because I don't have my power unit now. Okay, so if you can see it right in here, right? I know the gear is black, but right here is where that there are slits. There are slits in this gear right here, little slots that you can. The light goes right through, so that gear right there has got a slot in it right there. Well, that's where this encoder counts how many pulses for the microprocessor and knows where it is. I want to see if I can pull this worm gear out of here. So it's worm driven, belt driven, of course, but it's a worm gear situation. So if I can get that up and out of here, that should pull. That'll pull out. Let me get my needle nose in here. Well, this is going to pull out right here. Oh boy, we got a fiber washer right underneath that too. So this pulls out. Leave that on there. So that was this direction right there. That's how that fit in there. And then there's a fiber washer that goes right behind this. Just like that. So we got to keep that intact. I was kind of hoping we'd have enough room maybe to take this out. Between that gear and the encoder, but I guess not. Well, let's see if we can slide that worm gear off. Reason why I want to do that is try to get some space in here where I can work. Because I won't be able to pull this out of the way until I get that drive shaft out of the way. Let's see. Like I said, this is my first time in here, so I'm not very familiar. So I guess that. I guess that won't allow me to come off there. Well, I bet that worm gear is pressed on there pretty good. It would have to be on that shaft, otherwise it would slip. It would be slipping like crazy. But this is the encoder part of it. There is a fiber washer right behind that worm gear too. Well, let's see. What would facilitate me to get that out of there? Something I can grab onto, won't kill the gear. Yeah, there's a little, looks like, yeah, there's a fiber spacer between that too, between that pulley, that gear too. I don't want to grab it with these. And if I take, and that shaft should just be sitting in there, but I think this encoder is holding me out. Let's pop that motor out of the way. See this encoder board right here. We'll find and do this screw right here. Take this opposite one off. See if that. Will that release this part? I'll be careful of the head here too. Okay, if you ever do take one of these things apart and you go, this head's is off here now because it doesn't sit in this groove. This other side held that in. But there are two nylon, these two guys right here. There are two nylon, this one and this one, and they run on these polished shafts right here, and they run down here. Now that's what controls all the head rotation back and forth, and then when he tilts here, and this is out. I gotta put that back in there. This popped out here too. So this would take care of mostly the up and down this way and back and forth. So each one of these shafts that move on these cams, and this is all cam driven right here. So I guess let's just go ahead and since we're this far into it, we'll just go ahead and take this off. So that went just like that, straight up. And then we'll take this blue piece off, and then that was sitting in here just like that. Okay, cam number one. Nothing broken, and yeah, nothing broke in there. So that went like this, face up. And then here's the back part, so I'm going to lay it back side down. Then we've got this push rod right here. This is the one that would run the wing on that side, and that goes just like that. So that was next. So actually this would flip back that way. And then see all this stuff like this little knob right here on here runs inside that cam, just like that one runs inside this cam, and then it follows it, kind of like your old spirograph would do. And let's see, nothing there. Nope. And this one was like this. This is the third layer in. Nothing obviously broken or out of place there. And then we got, and this is the one that would, like this would pull the head. If I put the head this way and pull that, then it'll pull the head to the other direction. I thought that was pretty unique that they used flat nylon to do all that. And then we've got the drive gear here, and that part right here has to fit down and catch this right here. So when you put that back on, that would have to make, yeah, that would only sits in there one way anyway on that part. And then of course that runs that cam also would run a leg micro switch right here too. There's a little micro switch down here, right there. Or not a micro switch, but a little leaf switch. It's even got a calibration screw on it. It's got that red glue on there. So that's calibrated from the factory to be a certain distance from that point. So this gear was next. I don't see any broken teeth, nothing missing there. So that would be the next one in line to go there. Quite a gearbox. And then this was underneath that. And I think there's really only one way that's going to follow that too. So far nothing's broke, nothing looks like it would be impeding. So now since we got it this far down, see if I can turn this. This is what seems to be locked up right here. Okay, so that would probably be the limit there since that snapped. And let's see, where's the end point? Huh. Boy, it's just locked up, tiring the drum that direction. And it's locked up this way. Oh, darn. Well, let's get this up and out of the way now. Since I took that other screw out, now I can do that. So just pivot this up and out of the way. Tad greasy. It's not really that much grease in here. And like I was saying, this plastic is so slick. It's like it has almost like it has a Teflon coating. All right, so this is another cam, and that only can go in there in one direction. And then yet we have another activation rod there, and the other one for the other wing. So what the heck is holding this thing up? Nothing looks to be broken there, and no chunks, no pieces, or nothing out of here missing. Because every one of these discs are driven from these notches here. Every one of those little discs has a notch here, and that fits down in here. So basically, if I put this one, yeah, this one went on this way, back in here, then that notch touches that other notch down below it. But I'll be darned if I can see. I know there's a limitation of rotation is limited here. Wow, that's just, it should move farther than that. This should definitely move farther than that. Yeah, see, so now our little nylon came off. I'll have to tuck those back and then put that back. Because this one's the top one, and this one's the bottom nylon pull for the head. Okay, so let's see. What do I see here? I don't see a piece of fur in there. I do see that. Can't really get that up and out of my way until I it's like it just goes from there to there. That's it. And surely I would think that would move farther than that. Well, I'm probably going to have to take, gee whiz. I'm wondering it's on this other leg. Something to do here? Well, since we got this down, I make note of where that was. See if I can't get a black dot in there. See if I can't put a black dot right here where that lined up. I think I'll do that after I pull that off. Boy, we're gonna have to go even deeper here. Okay, well, let's take the other leg apart, if that's the case. right here. This whole thing doesn't explode right as I take this off. Put a dot here, kind of like a little alignment dot. Mark right there. That way I can know where that was. And then there's the spring. Same thing on this side. Got that piece here. And then this blue piece sits in that notch right there. Oh yeah, then we got the body spring. Take that off. This is the spring that if he tilts forward, that's what brings him back. Lots of pieces. Lots and lots of pieces. Out of the way, let's get this back. Well, that's all completely out of the way now. Okay, well, just take it all the way down, heck with it. All right, let's see. Get this out of the way. I know that's got to turn farther than that. I don't know, unless something was completely out of time. Well, I don't see anything broke at all. That shaft just goes down into here. I don't see anything there. Take. See if I can bring that up and over. Yeah, that's what I figured. Kind of hoping I could. Didn't give me a whole lot of room to work, but anyway. Nope, I don't see anything wrong down below there at all. So I don't know what was holding it up. I'm going to put what I want to do, since I got it this far broke down, is, oh, we got a mess now. What he's, yeah, because there's the whole head mech. Let's put this back. Get these back down here. Like I said, this is going to be a parts bird anyway. I was just curious to see if I could see what the heck was binding that up. Unless something was majorly out of time. Okay, so this has to sit like this. These have to go back below those wires. And then this sits down here in this groove like that. And then we got like this. Get that out of the way, keep it out of my way. Okay, what I want to do though is just put this back together this the upper? Yep, this is the upper one. Yeah, that's the upper one. I just want to put these back in here temporarily just to keep them out of my way here. Yep, that's the lower one. Yeah, okay. That's the lower, that's the upper. I wanted to put these back, just lay them back in here for now, just to keep keep them out of my way. Let's see, that probably was turned. Yeah, one was out. One was out that way. Like this. For now, that's just to keep an eye on, because I gotta get my battery box back together. Okay, so let's slide all this back, put the motor in here. Kind of important to have the motor. Without that, we don't have anything. What I want to do is just see if it will, if the encoder.
The time is 3 p.m.
Now, since we got the encoder back, and then we got a worm gear that's free, it's coming out right here. Well, actually, I'll need to put back that. Yeah, I'll need to put back that shaft follower. I gotta put that back in here, right here. I gotta put this back in there, and then that fiber washer right behind it. So we got the shaft, we got the little fiber washer, and then we've got this guy. Sits just like that. We put the encoder back. Yeah, there's nothing locked up there. That was perfectly free. I'd say something, and I didn't find any chunks of plastic or anything, so it's like, well, that gearbox that far out of time could have been dropped or hit. Who knows? Okay, so that's all snapped back together. So let's see if I can get the belt back on here. Get the belt back on the motor, like that. I think I'll drop these two down just to kind of hold these two sides together. Put the speaker back on, and then we can snap the motherboard back in. So now we got a battery box. Why that leg switch isn't being made. Probably looking for this switch right there. Yeah, it is. Okay. That little nut. Yeah, it looks to initialize it correctly. Because right now he'd be in just standby mode. Okay. Well, that's weird. That is just, I don't know why we don't have any, I'd say it's severely, it probably is severely out of time. Something was just, but if those all didn't stack together, they wouldn't all mate together correctly. So, you know, it's like, I don't know. Anyway, that would be the complete teardown of that lower body gearbox and cams. It's quite complex, and like I said, I'm just going to leave it down because this is going to be a parts bird anyway. But I wanted just to see if there was anything broke, and I didn't see anything broke. The only thing I can come to the conclusion that one of those lower cams or one of these, and like I said, they couldn't be unsnapped because this is what lines everything back up. They all have to line up. So when these two go back together on that shaft, that's what lines them up. So this one would stick down in there, see, and there's no. That's how the timing is maintained. So anyway, let's see. Let's go ahead and take a. We've got a fully working head here. So basically, if you were going to remove that head, take this screw, this screw, this screw on this side, that screw there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Covered that in the other video. But like I said, this is the main teardown of this lower unit. We'll do the a head breakdown. I'll just do that later. I think we'll make another video just out of that. See what tear it into that and see what that is. So anyway, thank you for watching my videos. Thanks for subscribing, and we will talk to everybody later.